It is such a special place. You can be from anywhere in the world and you'll be welcomed with open arms.
Welcome everybody to Breaking Bread, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the most interesting and exciting food scene in the UK. We're your hosts, Liam and Carl. I'm Liam.
I'm Carl. Said that loud, didn't I?
Welcome, yeah, welcome back.
Did that sound too loud?
No, shout it from the rooftops. He wants everyone to know who he is.
It seems that way.
On today's episode, we find out if you really can create a successful food business with zero culinary experience. Because today our guests have Scott and Tom from OPM, Kilder, Corner Shop, Pizza,
burgers.
Burger. Unbelievable.
Two of the happiest foods it's possible to have.
Yeah. They're that's what they're doing, just making happy. But their story is fantastic. You know, they gave up their steady career in fashion just to follow their absolute passion for burgers, and they've turned it into a mega successful restaurant. Still doing street food.
Yep.
So many lessons in this podcast, especially if you have zero experience but are thinking of going in and doing this for yourself. I know you've thought about it a couple of times and then realised how hard it is.
I've spoken to people and been like, oh God, this seems like hard work, to be fair.
Let's start, as always, by thanking our awesome sponsors. First up, Brum, first ever sponsor. Absolutely delighted to have them on board. I mean, you know, I say this every week, man. I'm really chuffed that they've come on this journey with us. Local craft rum, family business, producing. Well, they got like 4 core range. You know the 4 core. What is it?
Smoke's the main one. Then they got a honey one.
Spiced.
I think the apple one's a one-off. I don't think that's a core range, is it?
I think they've said it is a core range. Mate. It started off as a one-off. That's the thing. They're always doing these exciting things and then adding it to the lineup. You don't know.
That's it. I'm still working on the apple one at home at the moment. It's great.
Yeah, just making
so many things.
Awesome rums. Obviously, if you're a local bar or restaurant, get stuck in these awesome local brands. Second up, we have Easy Food. Part of the Easy family, you know, EasyJet and all that malarkey. But they're on a mission to give back power to you food delivery businesses by ditching the high percentage fees charged by some of the other big brands out there. For them, it's just a flat fee, £1.50. Couldn't be any easier. Allowing you, the business owner who's doing all the hard work, to keep more of your well-earned money. Go sign up to Easy Food today. The links to that is all in our show notes. So with all that said, how you doing, Carl?
I'm all right, mate.
It's good, isn't it? We're doing all right, you know.
Flying, absolutely flying.
It's nice. It's weird to see the traction it's built. Getting into video was always like, do we, don't we? Is it going to go? Is it going to be worth the effort? People have talked to it.
That's good.
Bozos watching hours and hours of us. No, not bozos. Good people watching hours and hours of us bozos.
Yeah, that's the right way around.
Yeah, that's the right way around.
It's good. I like people. People are probably watching us as well, but it's the guests, I think.
Oh, it's 100%.
It's always the guests. No one's interested in us. It's the guests.
I mean, yeah.
Especially this series. Well, every series, the guests have been great, but I think we've excelled this series.
Rabbit, Lou, all them episodes just flew out. Even the 2 Adams, you know, that was class. So many people really enjoyed that.
I've had so many good compliments. People just laughing about how funny that episode is and how good it was.
Where you been eating, man? Where has he been eating? Come on, we're on the edge of our seats here, Carl.
We went to Delhi 17, don't we?
Yeah, that was lovely.
I'm not getting into the debate of if it's in Sturchley or Selly Oak. It's sort of in the middle of the two. I'll let them fight out with anyone who wants to fight it out.
I don't think there's a fight. I think they're all giving it to Selly Oak, but for me, like, that's right on the border, that is.
I mean, I know which one I'd rather walk to. Yeah, we went there, didn't we, and tried it out.
I was just impressed with the vibes.
It's great.
It was so chill.
Was so nice, so relaxed. It felt like being in a little tapas place abroad. It was nice.
It was the kind of place where, do you know, like, you'd sit, drink, order a couple of plates, talk a lot, carry on talking. Oh, we need get some more, a few more plates.
Yeah.
A few more plates, a few more glasses of wine.
That's it. You don't need to
spend the whole day
it's
there.
Proper tapas. So you don't got to order everything straight away. Just order as you go.
Yeah, good vibes.
I loved it. Great selection. Loads of natural wines. Loads of good. As a shop as well, you can go in to buy other stuff and cheeses, meats, wines,
Coffee, great
crisps,
coffee,
everything.
dialect coffee, beers.
The food was banging. It's a beautiful little restaurant. It looks cool as hell from the outside and the inside.
I really loved it, man.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
The only thing I don't love about it is that every single neighbourhood in Birmingham should have one of them. Shirley should definitely have one. Solihull,
We need one.
everywhere should have like a place like that. It's cool.
It's got that proper what tapas is. You could just pop along, and even if you got your dinner cooking at home, have like a little snacky snack while you're there. It's like brilliant.
Yeah, I love that place. I wish them all a success. They've just opened, so go and have a look
Go
at
check
that.
them out. Yeah, where have you been eating, boss?
Well, I went to Colmore Food. I don't think it's Colmore Food Festival. I think it's just Colmore Festival, but it may as well be a food festival because the amount of
food you ate.
awesome food. Yeah, the amount of food I had. To be fair, no. Do you know what? It was brilliant. I've been meaning to go for a few years. Laura, Bite Your Brum. She's been like banging this drum about how great it's been for the last few years, and every time it's one of them things where it passes, and you're like, oh, I meant to go to that. Why didn't I go? So this year I was like, right, no excuses. I'm getting up there on the Saturday. Going to eat as much as I can and meet some people, and it felt like half of Birmingham did. The sunshine was out.
It was a nice day for it,
It was a
wasn't
cracking day for
it?
it.
It really was.
Started off with Dan Lee, met Dan Lee. Brilliant.
His food's
Always good
crazy
to meet
good,
Dan
isn't
Lee.
it? Yeah.
Just the nicest guy ever. Like MasterChef champion. Obviously, assume that you know who Dan Lee is. No introduction needed.
Yeah, we've got an episode with him. Check it out.
Yeah, we have back an episode. Not
Yeah,
we haven't got an
a
episode
while ago.
coming.
That was. No?
Yeah,
It feels a
like-
while ago, doesn't
Was it 2021 or something when he won it? Gosh, feels like a lifetime ago.
But his food's great.
His food was
Absolutely
fantastic. I
great.
just let him choose for me. It was some Indonesian dish. I didn't even get the name of it. I just said, Dan, whatever you recommend, I'll have that. And he was like, you sure? Yeah, sound. Fantastic. And then Adams. Well, a good way to... there's a price cap on all the food, by the way. I think it's £9. So you
that's
can't
good.
charge more than £9 for anything. So it means that Michelin star Adams, where I don't think you'd get anything for £9.
Glass of water.
Maybe. It means you get some nice dish made by an Adam himself. He was there in the kitchen, banging out all his. So it was like a tempura kind of, not scallops, they were prawns.
Yeah, look
Giant
nice.
prawns on a stick. Really nice, crispy, light batter. Really well seasoned, obviously, as you'd expect, with these potato straws and crushed peas. They call it fish and chips, but mate, it was fantastic. It was
Nice.
so good. And then the tart on the side, you have to get that. He always does that lemon meringue raspberry tart.
Yeah, I think every whole Birmingham must have tried this tart by now.
How'd you know? I wasn't even going to order it. And then as soon as I got to the front of the queue, I was like, I ordered. And then she went, anything else? And I went, yeah, give me the lemon tart.
I wonder how many people have cracked on that. Anything else? And they've gone,
Yeah.
yeah, go on now, like that.
You can see the burner in the background going like, shh, yeah, get me one of them, will you? No, that was brilliant. Just the vibes on the day was so good. They got a stage there, live music. There's tons there. I mean, it was rammed, but you didn't really have to queue long for anything. There was that much to choose from. Really, really good day out. I love that. I hope that just keeps getting better and better for them every year because there's not much you get for free these days. And it's a free food festival in the middle of the city.
Brilliant.
Awesome. So, on to today's episode. I was thinking, what's next?
That's why we're here.
Just for today's episode. As we've already said, this is Tom and Scott, OPM, Kilder, fame. We talk about in this episode, they were like one of the first, they were at the very first Digbeth Dines.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Way back 2012 or whenever that was. And their story's unreal. Hope you enjoy it. And if you do, as always, do us a big favour. Like, subscribe, do all of that. But more importantly, go and tell a person in real life. Go and chat to them and say, there's this podcast, Breaking Bread, spreading this positive Birmingham message, having all these inspirational Brummies doing awesome things. You should go and have a listen. If you could do that for us, that'd be mega. So yeah, thanks again. Hope you all enjoy. Lads, cheers for doing this. Really appreciate it.
No
It's
problem
all
at
right,
all.
no problem.
Obviously, two big names of the industry that we've wanted to get on for a long time. How he's doing, apart from roasting?
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, all good, mate. All
Yeah.
good. Getting ourselves psyched up for tomorrow for our hill walk. That's what we're doing.
Oh yeah, you crazy people are going up Snowdon tomorrow.
Yeah.
Did I just hear you say you're getting at 6? You're meeting at 6?
Yeah, just some of the guys from the restaurant. We're just going to go over and
Patty Ramblers.
Yeah.
It's Patty Ramblers.
Is that a thing you do? Team
No.
building?
No, we've not done it before. I think a couple of the guys just said that they were going to do it, and it kind of escalated to a few of us. So
Yeah.
a couple of the young ones taking us up.
Yeah, that's it. Walk out the old boys. I've got my stick on my zip-off trousers. So
That's it. Do you remember when you were the young boys?
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember this.
Yeah.
It's music with me. You find like listen to songs and you're like, that wasn't 20 years ago.
Yeah, you get a lot
It
of
was.
moments
You're
of
like,
realization, like music and films, and especially like the turnover. We have people coming in here, like the team and stuff like that, and you mention something and they just
Clueless.
don't know what that is.
No.
Like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
yeah.
Half the guys
There's people that
they've
don't know
never
who
heard
that
of him.
is.
That I was like, that blows my mind.
That's insane.
It's like the Navigator. I was talking about that the other day, and they didn't know what that was. That
No
blew my mind.
way.
I was like, that's a classic reference. Like, surely.
Yeah.
Someone was on about, I seen a meme about Vice City. That was when Vice City came out, that was closer to the 80s than we are now
Yeah,
to when
that's-
Vice City came out. And I was like, no, that can't be right. And then, it is by years as well.
Yeah, it's
depressing,
mad, isn't it? And
It's when they fill out their forms and put the dates of birth on it. That's what kills me.
Like 2000?
yeah, we're into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
2000s now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I remember that really vividly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're into the 2000s.
Yeah.
So we always start by going all the way back.
Yep.
Where did you just grow up? Are you local? Obviously.
No,
Your
no,
accent gives you a little
I'm
bit
not
away.
local at all. So I was born in Luton.
Luton.
Yeah, Luton. So then I came up to Birmingham for uni at 18. And then
Oh, nice.
been here ever since. Yeah.
Pretty much similar story. Yeah, I was Scotland, central, just north of Glasgow, near Stirling, and small village. Couldn't wait to get away from it and moved to. I came and worked in Birmingham for a summer in an old folks home when I was 16, and my mate was like, "I've got a great gig. We get a house, we get paid." And I remember like spaffing my first paycheck on like a portable mini disc player, a vest from River Island, some diesel jeans, pair of Adidas trainers, and I was like, "This is the best. I'm coming back to Birmingham." And I went back to Birmingham after that, back to Scotland after that summer. And the next year, I decided to do my foundation course in art in Birmingham, and I've pretty much been here ever since then. Really.
What year was that roughly?
Oh God, that's giving away too much. That is. That's got to have been. So I finished. I took a year out of uni halfway through, but I finished uni in about 2001, 2002. So it's got to be. God,
I think I was
2018.
2002. I think I was 2002 maybe
When you graduated.
when I came.
You came. Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came back from
Yeah, yeah.
2001 to 2003. So yeah, so maybe I reckon about 2018 probably came.
I don't ask that question just to try and embarrass you by giving away your age.
No, it's fine.
It's just that I'm really fascinated by the people who came to Birmingham. I was guessing that we were all kind of the similar age, and we are, but we had no choice. We were born in Birmingham. We
Yeah.
lived here. So people who come and chose to live here in 2001, 2002, I'm always curious to know why. Like, because what we have now, we love Birmingham.
Yeah.
I was always loved Birmingham. I used to think it was a right shithole because it was,
Right, yeah,
especially in 2002. So, what made you stay with like?
So I came for uni and we were studying the same course, but Tom was the year above me. So we both studied fashion. So I came over there and then did my 3 years and then went into jobs, just retail jobs, things like that, and then progressed and stayed. I think we pretty much followed each other in different jobs all the way until this place.
Yeah.
I think at uni we kind of like just knew each other a little bit and said
Yeah.
hello as we walked past each other and stuff like that. But
Because I was originally 2 years ahead of you. Then I took a year out, came
Yeah.
back. You were then the year below me. We still kind of, like you said, knew of each other, and then worked in retail. I then went and worked with Luke Clothing. So I was doing design work for them. And a year later, they were looking for a graphic designer, and I said, "Oh, I know someone." And then Scott came on board, and so we worked there for like what, 8 years, 7 years for you, 8
yeah.
years for me.
yeah, I think so.
Wow.
And then while we were there, that was when we started talking about food and sort of shaping the idea of what could be OPM, I guess, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there always a passion for food? Like, was it a big thing growing up, or?
So growing up, no,
Yeah.
I don't think so. Not.
First meal I ever had at Scott's was a plate of pizza and some ready salted crisps on the side, I think.
Yeah, no, I think growing up, it wasn't like a big thing, food in our house. And even when I went to uni, it was more about, at that point, it was what I could afford. I think it was after and while I got into work and stuff like that, and started looking at different things, started watching a bit more TV and watching food documentaries, and got into it, I think, a little bit more that way.
Yeah, I always quite enjoyed it. Like, cooking was quite cathartic. It was a way to, and kind of got into it, I guess, a bit more. But then, yeah, like Scott says, I guess we used to just talk about what we'd seen on TV or what we'd read about or what we'd heard of, and then that kind of just got conversation started, and we both just got a little bit more passionate about it. And
I think the whole thing came about watching Man v Food, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Around Tom's flat at the time. We were talking about, at that point, because we were doing fashion, we were doing design, we were doing graphics, and we'd been there quite a while, so we were sort of chatting and thinking, what could we really do that was maybe our own type thing? But then we were watching Man v Food, and I think we were just like, we both love doing this. We should just do something like this, shouldn't we?
I mean, that's when we first did the Krispy Kreme burger, wasn't it?
And that's where we got the donut burger from, and everything like that. And then it kind of
escalated.
Escalated a little bit from there. We started talking about a bit more, looking at it, and then
we were just saying that
it was Sam's birthday after that.
Yeah, it was so it was a friend of mine's birthday, and because we were basically just saying that you couldn't find like a good independent burger in Birmingham. There was just this lack. There was, I think,
at that point there was no independent.
Well, there was Handmade Burger Co, wasn't there? I think that was the only kind of like independent-ish. But I mean, even then, they still had like 20 stores or something like that. So it wasn't exactly a small fry. And then we had a friend whose birthday was coming up, and he was like, "Look, you've been talking about this quite a lot. Why don't you just do it at my party, and we'll see how it goes?" So we had this birthday party at the Prince of Wales. And like we were chasing tail. We didn't know what we were doing.
Every time we plugged something in, the whole pub went out.
Yeah. We cut the power to the pub. We hired
the equipment for that, didn't we?
Yeah.
We hired grills and stuff. And every time we plugged something in, everything else turned off. We just did not know what we were doing.
Yeah. No. But you know, it went down well, and it's always hard to tell because it's your mates, isn't it? So it's like you're always going to get positive feedback from your mates. Generally, not many people are going to give you negative. So it's like you kind of need a bit of better feedback than that from the general public, who are always willing to tell you exactly what they think. And also at the same time, I had a good friend of mine, Al Fox from Encast. He was sort of taking over the family business essentially. And I was chatting to him because I knew his dad back in the day, who originally founded the company, used to sling like frozen burgers out of a trailer. And I was like, look, can I speak to your old man? Like, let's get some advice from him, you know, and see where we need, or what we need to do to get this started. And so we had like a little sit down meeting with him, didn't we? Yeah. And he kind of like ran us through everything as to the basics of what you're going to need to do. And he was like, look, just pile them high, sell them quick. And we're like, nah, it's not.
So we didn't go for that one. We didn't go for that.
It's not what we want to do, you know. Like,
maybe we should have. We'd have been a lot richer by now, but yeah.
And then it just so happened that I was like, actually, you know what? We've been having a conversation with a couple of people who are on about starting up like a street food event called Dickworth Dining Club. And he's like, maybe we'll put you in touch. And they're on about doing it in the next couple of months. You could try and get things together. And then so that kind of accelerated our kind of process a little bit, didn't it? Like we started looking into like where we could get good buns locally, what bakers could make it for, you know. We then sort of found our meat supplier, and at that point we sort of started to get, you know, I think we put 1,500 quid on a credit card, bought like some tables, a gazebo, some festing lights from.
No, we didn't have the gazebo. We shared that one. That's the first thing we've done. We shared someone who was a festival trader, and they had like a 6-foot thing, and we shared half that because we turned up with like a garden gazebo. And then I remember Jack at the time was like, I don't think you can use that. I was like, all right, okay. So we shared someone else's gazebo, and we were cooking like 2 burgers at a time, and just standing there watching them, like making sure that everything was right to give them out to people. We just never done it before.
So was that the first ever Digbeth Dining Club?
Yeah, the first ever
So you were
one.
part of the very first one?
We did that, and then we also did brisket buns at it, and we called ourselves Big Smoke.
Yeah.
We didn't do it again, but we didn't even smoke the brisket.
It was cold smoked.
But yeah, I think they were just a little like a trader short, and we were just, we'll give it a go. Like, so we braised briskets and things like that. It was, it was.
But like even at that first one, when we sold out of beef, we had chickens. We started slinging chicken. We bought
Yeah,
chicken
the
off the guys
traders.
next door
Yeah,
who had
yeah,
had
yeah.
an absolute beast. So we bought chicken off them and started slinging their chicken in buns. Then we ran out of the chicken, so we started slinging bacon in buns. Like it was just. So I think we quickly realised, you know what, we've got a chance to kind of squeeze a few different things in here and try. And it was a testing ground, really. Like it was a testing ground to try and get things started and sort of figure out what we wanted to do. And then very quickly we kind of had to get our shit together because it just got busier and busier and busier.
In the early days of Dig Dining Club, just in behind like with the old cronies, just in there, that they were brilliant. Like there was like 4 traders. It felt like a real special time. I remember the first time I went, and it was like lashing down with rain, but we still had an like awesome time.
It was great. It had a good atmosphere to it.
Yeah,
had a good atmosphere.
When we were doing those, it was we'd come straight from work.
Yeah.
So we'd set up like the night before, as much as we could, and then we'd go to work the next day, and then with a trailer on the back of Tom's car with all the other stuff in it. Jack had put like half a gazebo up and stuff for us. And then when we turn up, we'd be the last ones to start serving.
But we kind of made a thing out of that then.
Yeah, it started to
Kept the
become
front
this thing. Like,
and then we'd start the hip hop, and then people would start queuing, and everyone else would be serving, but then the queue would just start to build, then the music would start to play, and then we'd just whip down the thing, and then it would you just churn, and you'd hit like 300. Just
for us with Dig Dining Club, the product we were doing, we were confident in as well. But we also, from our background, I think we were very aware that we wanted to build a brand as well as serve good food, because that's what stands out. Some of these events, some people go, and some people are really into the food. Some people are just going because their mates are going and they're attracted to other things. So we always wanted to have like that, which is what we've kind of pushed through with everything with our merch, everything like that. It's what we've continued to do. I think from our design background, that's what we were focused on, the whole thing of creating a brand.
Was there anyone filming the early days, like the setup and stuff like this? Because this would be like a great little documentary you could show if you put it together.
There wasn't
wouldn't
any
it?
Instagram or anything.
No.
Just like filming it for like college or for university, just as a degree. That'd be awesome. Imagine that documentary. That'd
Some
be
old
awesome.
grainy, shaky handicap.
Yeah.
No, there was nothing like that back then.
I think the earliest footage we've got is probably from Berlin.
Yeah.
Where we did a thing called Hip Hop and Burgers, and then she's a British girl actually that was living in Kavita, living in Berlin, and actually her sister was the one that started the cookery school in Harborne, wasn't it? And she was inviting people from around Europe and all the rest. There was us from Birmingham, there was guys from the Netherlands and everything else, but they put together like the first footage that I think we've ever had. Yeah. I've still got that somewhere as well. Actually, yeah.
Do you miss them early days of Dig Dining Club?
I mean, like it was definitely it was fun, but it was hectic.
Fun. Yeah, at the time it was always quite stressed because we were working full time, so we'd finish work and then we'd go back to mainly Tom's house, start prepping and things like that for like the night before, stuff that could be prepped early, and then the next night we'd prep some more, and then we'd have to make sure everything was ready. So it was a bit like it was taking its toll a little bit after a while because we were doing quite a lot on those, but looking back, it was quite fun.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah, it was exciting, like, and then it was, like the busier it got, kind of the more your imagination started to roll with like, well, what are the possibilities here? What could we do with this? Like, is this going to be something, or is this just going to be like a constant bit of pocket money and that's it? Like, and it wasn't. It was three years on really that we kind of thought either we need to just do this full time or jack it.
Yeah, we did the 2014 Street Food Awards, didn't we?
Yeah, that was it.
And that's kind of when we were doing lots of different things. But I think when we got that award back then, that was when people started emailing us and messaging saying, "Can you do this event? Can you do this event?" And we started to get a bit more busy. We were just doing Dig Dining Club, weren't we? The whole time we weren't doing anything else. We were just doing Dig Dining every 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. Every 2 weeks. Yeah.
But then other people started to contact us and ask if we wanted to go to these events, and it started to become a bit more, and it was getting a bit more involved with work and that as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I just had my first kid at that point as well, so it was also trying to manage that.
That's a scary time as it is. Yeah, you need to be secure.
So then we decided to just give up our jobs completely and
At which point my second child came along. Perfect timing. Yeah.
So you chose the easy route.
Yeah. And I got married that year as well.
Yeah.
Big year.
What a big year. Yeah.
Was that always the plan that you were going to go full time from the beginning? Or?
No. Well, I don't think it was.
No, not
I think
at all.
we just something we started and it just
It was a bit of fun at the
kept
start,
rolling.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it just kept rolling. I think we've
Bit of
both
money
been in
on
the
the
same
side.
job for so long, and we didn't hate it, but you do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Like we were looking at doing something else, and I think this came along, and it was something we really enjoyed, and it just started to get momentum.
And it's that whole kind of cliche thing as well, isn't it? Like you're working hard, but you're working for someone else, and there's only so far you can go within that company. And it's like if for me anyway, at that time, it was a case of if you're going to progress any further in this field, and don't get me wrong, I did love that kind of element of my job and my work, but if you're going to progress any further, then really it's a move, and it's probably a move to a different city, you know. And my kids were young. Jen didn't want to move to London, and so it was like, well, you know, what are the other possibilities? And this seemed like, I mean, it probably wasn't to a lot of other people, but it seemed like a viable option to us that, you know, maybe we could make it work, you know.
Yeah.
And that's where we started planting the seed with someone that we met along the way, which was Darren from Siren. And we'd sort of done a few pop-ups with him, and we'd met him at the beer festival.
We met his
and-
head brewer first, back
Yeah.
his original head
Ryan.
brewer. We met him, and then he was saying we should chat to Darren because Darren was looking at doing different things, and what we'd do would work really well.
He was a mentor.
Yeah, he was. And then I think we eventually met up with Darren, and we did the tap room. I think. Well,
Yeah,
they didn't
yeah.
have a tap room then, did they? It was just a tasting event.
No,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
It was a tasting event, and they all really liked what we would do. We matched some burgers to the beers and stuff like that, and we've done a few events with them. And then Darren kind of said, if there's anything you ever want to do, let me know, because I'd like to maybe open something, but I don't want to do it on my own with no food options and things like that. But if you've got any ideas, just let us know. And then for some reason we thought this car park looked appealing. And then it kind of went, I think I parked up, didn't I, and looked through the letterbox.
Yeah,
Did I send you a picture of the letterbox?
We'd pulled up to go and get donuts from Selfridges,
Yeah.
and there was a to let sign on the outside.
Yeah, and we looked through the letterbox, put the cameras in, and looked around. We're like, it's quite a cool space.
Yeah. It's a plastic shell with a concrete
Yeah, it was just
floor.
it was a white plastic shell, but
Well, that's it. You go to like Manchester or London,
Yeah.
anywhere there's arches.
yeah. So
Usually
there was
under them
there was
arches,
no
there's
other
good
arch in
stuff.
Birmingham
Yeah,
used
there
for
was
anything
no-
else other than like mechanics or storage
Yeah.
or anything. Like, no
You
one.
go anywhere else in the
Yeah, yeah.
country, their arches are used.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
rent
yeah.
them out, and they're great spaces.
And they put money in from you, and they put like nice glass frontages on
Yeah,
them
yeah.
and all that. Birmingham
Yeah.
just hasn't.
We did all that ourselves. All these frontage on here, we've done that
right.
all ourselves. But if you go to, as Tom just said, other cities, they're
There's
already
whole roads
ready
of
to go.
them,
Yeah,
like-
yeah, ready
Yeah,
to go.
yeah, yeah.
Even
But
Leamington, all
they
their
didn't touch it.
arches are all got stuff in.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
They just skipped Birmingham. They didn't touch them.
But I feel like it's coming to a bit of a reset here now. Like the mechanic who was next door, he's left. The guys, the painters and decorators, the other side, they're on about maybe shifting.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good opportunity to.
To turn this into a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
area.
Yeah, I think so. Especially with the HS2 pulling up outside and the BBC around the corner. You know, shout out to anyone that wants to take on some units.
It must have been hard because obviously everything that appeals to me because you guys are already here and it feels like a cool place, but there was nothing here when you started.
No.
No.
Maybe did the Digbeth Dining Club give you confidence in that Digbeth Dining Club set up in a really unpopular part of town?
Yeah, yeah.
Turned it cool, you know?
I think
Yeah.
that gave us confidence because of what they'd done, but also because we've been trading for 3 years, like every 2 weeks, we had a good following. We were selling out week on week on week. So we knew that despite the fact it wasn't like high footfall, it could be a destination point. And you spit in distance from Moore Street and Selfridges and everything. Still, a lot of people don't know that we're here and don't know where we are, but those who do know will come for the food. So I think like because we had the confidence, people were prepared to go down and hang out by the crackheads at DDC. Like, they were prepared to come here and hang out by our crackheads and have a good burger.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think people that were down here weren't used to it being a busy area when we first moved
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a bit
When
of
you're
shock.
eating a
There was like-
burger
there was
and
like people everywhere and
Yeah.
standing in the bushes and stuff like that. It was a bit,
yeah.
and like we had lots of positivity when we reopened, but there was a bit of negativity about the area and stuff like that. And it's,
Yeah.
But
but everything changes.
That.
Someone has to go into an area at
Yeah,
some point.
yeah, yeah.
Well, we say it all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Sturchley wasn't a great place
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all, and now
No.
it's probably the best place in Birmingham
yeah.
to go out now.
Yeah,
It's mental.
but it's
Digbeth,
something about
like-
that little kind of gritty, it kind of builds.
I think people like it, and especially
yeah,
people in Birmingham, they like
yeah.
that sort of rundown, built up.
I mean,
site.
this whole thing was exactly what we always talked about, was being slightly out of the way, a little bit different, like not in the nicest part of town. It's kind of the appeal it had to us.
Because Digbeth especially, we were coming out in Digbeth from a young age, but that was just because that's where all the Irish pubs were.
Yeah.
And we'd get a lock in and stay in like the White Swan till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
But that was all it was known for. And then you guys come along and Jack and you got TDC.
Yeah.
Hey, is this why you opened Kilder as well? Is that over there? Your burger place?
Kilder was more like a result of the queues.
So we were
restaurant.
really, really busy when we first opened for a while. Like, the queues would come out and go onto the car park. And that was quite consistent, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It became a thing, and it was...
People would be waiting for like sort of 40 minutes.
Like we outgrew the space quite quickly. So then the idea of opening this place was something along the lines of what we wanted as a bar, but it would also help to spread the people across. So anyone's waiting can come in here, have a drink, and then it isn't just a queue of people waiting out on the street and they've got somewhere to go. Because there wasn't anything else around it. So if anyone wants to go off, we didn't have like the system like we've got now where we can text you or anything like that. It was just hang around and...
Yeah, people just had to stand in the queue. That was it. Otherwise, you move, you lose your space. That was it. You know,
just on the road.
Which again was quite nice. You know, like the guy who had the garage next door, he'd park like cars in there because that half of the outside arch was his, and this was his unit, and he just used to chop like pallets up for his wood burner at home in here, and he had like a shit ton of old tires and like car parts.
There'd be when we'd open on a Wednesday, there'd be 4 cars in that space there, and people would have to slide down the side of the car to get in because that was always the front door still. And they'd slide in, and you'd have to go over to him like, "Can you just move them over a little bit, like just a little bit?" Like,
and then we started to pay for his cars to be parked in the car park,
and then we put like a fake garden.
So
every Wednesday we'd roll out AstroTurf. We'd have all these blinds that we rolled out, so made it into a garden. And then on Sunday night, we'd roll all the blinds back in. We'd roll all the AstroTurf back up, and if you walk past it, it'd be a car park again.
And then at that point we said to Paul, we were just like, you know what, if we give you a little cheeky backhander, would you give up this unit? And he was like, I'll think about it. And eventually he just came forward and was like, yeah, you know what, take it. So that's when we were like, let's go for it.
Was it literally just this will be like a glorified waiting room? Because I love this place. I think this by itself
it wasn't the
if
plan.
OPM wasn't there, I'd still come here. I love this bar. I think it's great.
Yeah, we wanted it to be more than a glorified waiting space. So that's why we wanted to brand it differently. We didn't want it to be an OPM bar. We didn't want it to be an OPM waiting room, which is why we went down the route of calling it Kilder, giving it a very different look to what we've got going on next door. And, we wanted it to sort of define itself in the area, but it could also be used as a bit of an overflow. But, I think it's a different dynamic to what we've got next door.
I think we learned that quite quickly.
Where
we tried to not necessarily grow up the space, but this was a little bit older, maybe what we did in here. And then maybe at the beginning, the customers weren't quite transferring to what we were offering in here. Because when we first started, we've got the curing fridge there. We were doing some of the small plates. We were doing all English cheeses and curing meats and things like that. But it wasn't necessarily transferring to the food that we were doing in there, so we weren't getting that crossover.
Because a lot of people that don't know craft beer, they walk in and look at the board and they're just like, fuck, it's not San Miguel, it's not, it's not Guinness. I don't know what I'm doing. They get intimidated by it, but because we sold craft beer as an offering in there, people were drinking it when they were eating their burgers. So we were like, oh, well, everyone loves craft beer, so we just open a craft beer bar. And then we were like, well, actually, we can make it more than that. We'll do like natural wines. We'll get like a great cider selection. We'll do tasting plates. And then so we kind of went all in, but people were coming down for the burgers. They weren't necessarily coming for this. So this has always taken a bit longer to get going than next door did. And ultimately, because we did brand it differently and we did style it differently and we did give it a different offering, we had to build the clientele for this place up and get people that were into this to come down to it, which is always the harder, longer slog than next door.
Yeah, because you already had the...
Yeah, we were established and like people knew us as a brand.
It came quite easy next door when we first opened.
Yeah.
This place has definitely had to work a bit more.
Yeah. A bit more considerate with our offering and how we get people in here, definitely. Yeah.
Did you come across many challenges transferring from street food to an actual restaurant?
Yeah.
How long's the podcast? I think just from maybe like a professional way to run. So we don't come from cooking backgrounds or kitchen backgrounds or anything like that. So hospitality. So we both worked in retail, but that was about it.
I'd worked in like a few bars, but
Okay,
nothing, and a couple of restaurants, but nothing like
So for
management
me in
level.
particular, I think when we first started, we said that we'd swap roles each time, do kitchen shifts, things like that. But it quickly just transitioned that Tom was much better at talking to people and being on the floor than me. So I kind of stayed in the kitchen, and it kind of went from there. But to work in a professional kitchen and be in charge of that professional kitchen when employing other people who have actually worked in other kitchens, it was quite difficult. Our first employer was a guy called Will, and he was brilliant, like from day one. So he kind of helped me as well, and we just worked. It was just the two of us in the kitchen. So I learned quite a bit off him, and then it's just kind of progressed there. But I think from that point of view, for me, it was a bit of a transition to prepping at home in your kitchen and
Steep learning curve.
just the paperwork involved, everything like that. And
we had like our first EHO visit as well, and they
Yeah,
pretty
like
much
straight
threatened
away.
to shut us down
straight away, and we were
Shut
just
us
like
down,
rabbits in
yeah.
headlights. Like we just didn't know anything. Like,
But I think, I think at that point they were sympathetic,
Yeah.
and like kind of helped us out, and in all fairness, and
Yeah.
they after serving us a court notice of we're going to shut your business if you don't get your shit together, because it wasn't that we were running a shit show, it was just that we were fully unaware of all the necessary paperwork that was we had some stuff in place, but it just wasn't as good as it
we didn't
could
have
been.
any outside guidance.
Yeah,
we did it on us.
exactly, yeah.
We think we finished work. What did we do? 6 weeks? Was it 6 weeks
Yeah, what between
between work and doing this place up?
it was 3 months. So we
3 months.
quit in August.
Yeah.
We didn't start work on it until October, and then it was October, November, December, and then we opened.
So we got builders in, but a lot of it we did ourselves as
Yeah.
well. So we were in here till
We got builders
putting
in
all
when
the
we
walls up inside, all the
struggled.
kitchen we built ourselves and everything like that, like all the stud walls, all the ceiling. That was all built by us. So we were focused on doing that, and then we were just like, right, we're open, and then it was like, oh, we need paperwork. Oh, we need to do this and this and this. And we just weren't focused on that part of it because it was still just the two of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we you get there in the end, and like it's just all the till systems. Like, I mean, we were threatened about because we didn't know about having to have license for music. Like, if you're playing music in a restaurant, you got to have like a license to do that, and there's 2 different companies you got, and like we were getting fined left, right, and center, and it was just like, fuck, what's going on, man? Like, who are all these people that want money? Like, and but that's at that point, I think you start to kind of reach out, and other people like offer bits of advice, and but a lot of it you kind of just scrabbling for yourself.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's progressed that we've been doing it, 9 years now? Coming up to 10?
2015. So what's that?
Coming up to 10.
How's our maths? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely changed a bit now. We know what we're doing now, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Ready to retire.
yeah.
Do you have a favourite lesson, like something that was difficult or painful at the time, but now looking back, you think, oh, thank God that actually happened because we've learned this from that?
We've gone through loads of stuff where we've done stuff wrong, something's gone horribly wrong, or we've messed something up or something. And even to last weekend, we had a festival cancelled while we were there. We were attending it. We were meant to be trading. It was cancelled in the morning. But I think one thing I'd say about us, we probably never really gave up on doing anything. If something happened, we've always just kind of... So I'd say lots of events have happened we've been doing, but it's been disaster. But I think obviously if they didn't happen, then like to this point, when we were at that festival last weekend and it got cancelled, we were kind of the only ones that were like, oh, well, like it's bad and we lost lots and everyone lost lots, but you've got to think about what you can do next. Like you've got your stock, you've got, so we have to work quickly on what we can do, what we can save, what we can, and I think that's kind of helped us a little bit in what we're doing now. I think there's lots and lots of setbacks, like constantly, every week there's something, and I think it's just, if you don't have them, I think then you won't learn and you won't be able to adapt as quickly as
it's it's tenacity. And also I think because we'd made such a big change from our initial careers, and we'd put a lot into starting this business, that took a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of focus. And I think because of that, there are certain times where you have to know it's time to give up on something. But I think because we're so proud, but also confident in what we do and what we offer, that there's always a way around it, and there's always a way to fix it, and there's always someone else you can speak to, and there's always an option that's there on the table, and to not let it weigh you down, and and move on, like Scott says. I think if you don't have the tenacity and you don't have the drive to do that, then you don't get involved because it's just going to wear you down pretty quickly.
Having a festival council, that must be quite a difficult one because you've got all the stock and the prep for that whole day.
We've never had that before, but it wasn't their fault that the wind was like 40 mile an hour wind.
Yeah, the main marquee collapsed.
The main thing. So they just decided they were going to stay. They were going to do it, and then the whole marquee behind them just collapsed in the wind. All the linders for the beer. It was a beer festival, and everything collapsed. So they just couldn't go ahead.
Yeah,
so it's no one's fault. It was just one of those things. But
and you think like we might have spent like a couple of grand on getting all of our stuff there and the stock and everything else, but these guys had spent 100k on getting this set up, and
no one's cancelling it out of just like shits and
no,
exactly.
It's going to quick to assume that no one's just cancelling it for the fun.
You look at people's comments like, oh, how can you do this? Like, I've already got on a train and spent £70 on a
it's
ticket.
not like they spent like a year organising it. Fuck this, can't be bothered. Let's just fuck it.
We don't need a payday.
But it's always a big call. So we haven't had that before, but it's
and I mean, there's lots of little things that you learn along the way which all add up, and a lot of that is from just speaking to people along the way and garnering advice where you can, really. And
the amount of people that we've met doing this and chefs and people in hospitality and everything like that, it's been really helpful. Everyone does help.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good community in Birmingham. There's a lot of good people out there, and we've always found that, and we've always had fun with our collaborations with other people, and that's like mutual respect for what other people are doing, but also everyone, you get something from it. It's not just what you're putting out on the table and what you make in the tills. It's, it's creating and concreting that community that's within Birmingham, and it's learning those new things along the way from other people, and whether that's a skill that you can apply to the kitchen or whether that's like a skill you can apply to back of house and how you run your business. There's a lot of people out there that are sort of prepared to give you 5 minutes and and help you out.
Do you find it important to keep your foot in the street food game?
I think so. I think it's important to be involved in it, as much as it can be a ball ache at times. I'm
sure there's plenty of people that get a restaurant, they're like, right, I'm not fucking doing that again.
Yeah, I think that's most people's opinion straight away. But then you do see people end up going back to it.
I think it helps you to stay relevant. It helps you to reach new audiences. It helps you to keep yourself and your product out there. There's people from. We travelled to Norfolk and Brighton and Manchester, London, everywhere, and it just helps to kind of broaden your.
It's the only way really you're going to go into other cities.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you got collabs and things like that, but
it gives you a taster for what's going on in those other towns and those cities, and whether there's a possibility for something to happen there, and also for people to hear who you are, and and get invites back to those places to potentially do the collabs or whatever it might be.
I suppose it's moving that quickly, street food as well. Where it is now to where it was when you started, it's a completely different game altogether.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely. There was a lot more cowboy when we were first starting out, wasn't it? Like, you don't get away with that now. Like, you have to have a much more refined idea of what you're doing and what you're offering, and the brand and everything else is so much more important now than when we first started, I think.
Well, there's whole TV shows, isn't there, of just people with a street food trying to open a restaurant? Like, that's a show now.
Yeah.
That would be nice, wouldn't it, when we started? Just go and pitch your idea and someone plugs you a load of cash to get started.
Going back to what you said about needing resilience, where do you build resilience faster than doing street food? It's such a tough environment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
things are going wrong all the time.
Constantly adapting.
Well, I mean, we initially, when we were talking about if we're going to do this, we're going to do it full time. We talked about doing like street food, but because Britain's got such shit weather, like you can't guarantee it. Like, you just cannot guarantee it. So the only other choice was bricks and mortar, right? And both of us were on salaried positions. I had a house, I had a wife who'd just given, so you needed some sort of stability. I mean, opening a restaurant is not the most stable job in the world, but like, we needed some sort of stability, right? To kind of move sideways rather than take a dip and be all over the shop with what we were earning. So, but yeah, street food is still important and vastly different from what it was. I mean, look at all the food halls now that are popping up all over the country. And, and those that have gone bust and, and not lasted over the last sort of 4 or 5, especially the ones down in London.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much in London. Like, one thing closes, two things open.
Exactly. You think like, surely it's oversaturated. Like 100% it's got to be. But you can walk down streets in London where there's like 25, 30 restaurants all next door, and they're all busy.
Yeah.
You know, like
Just walk through Soho and you're just like, how is everywhere busy?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
understand
yeah.
this at all.
yeah,
You'd expect at least one dead place, but there isn't.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
all
100%.
full.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
Dishoom. Dishoom has how many Dishooms in London, and
Like
every one of
4
them
or
has a
5.
queue.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
What is going
yeah,
on?
yeah.
Yeah.
I still haven't had the breakfast from Dishoom yet.
It's one of the best things. I love the
Yeah,
breakfast.
see, everyone keeps saying that. I've still not tried
Yeah,
it.
it's good, man. Unlimited chai. Just there, like, yeah. Sugar. I think there's like 8 sugars in each one or something like that. I've made it at home. It's like a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
It's great though.
Yeah.
I'm asked about, like, not negative, but some of the harder parts of being a business owner. What's the best thing about running the business?
Telling people what to do.
I think there is more satisfaction doing this than we've had in any job or anything that I've had before anyway. And I think it's just coming in here every day isn't like when I used to go to work and you're like, got to get up, like you go to work. Here is just like you're in here early, you get in, and there's days where I don't enjoy it, but yeah, I think the satisfaction of coming in and this is we're working towards a goal, and then having like the guys with us, like the team as well. Some of the guys we have on, they've lasted. Some people have come and gone within the restaurant, but we're still in contact with them. When we do festival, they still come back and they still help. So it's creating those sort of friendships throughout what we're doing. And I feel like when we said we'd open this place, we always wanted to be where people enjoyed. So, and it sounds cliche, but people enjoyed being here. Obviously, they're getting paid to come to work, but I think we didn't want it to be like we're the boss, do what we say. I mean, there is that element, especially in the kitchen. But it was like we want people to enjoy being here, and I think we've got such a good retention of people that have been here and have gone and still coming back to help us out or come back to do the odd shift if they can do and stuff like that. I think that's quite rewarding, knowing that we're kind of like almost a pat on the back that we've done a decent job. We're not completely horrible.
Yeah.
Like all the time. For me, anyway, I think that's quite a
definitely.
rewarding thing.
There's a lot of
being that
satisfaction
person.
in that.
Yeah, being that person that's
And
in
just,
charge. And
being true to what we're doing here is something that we're passionate about. And it's, like Scott said, even when you have those hard days and the days that really aren't enjoyable, that when you double down and you put the effort into it, that when you do make it right and then things start to run smoothly, that it's because of the effort that you've put in, and it's your team that are rewarded by it, and it's your team that helped you to support or help to support the business, and you get a lot of good feedback from that. Like we were saying the other day as well, like the amount of staff on our books is close to 100. It was like just over 80, which sounds like a lot in the time since we've opened.
but that's nearly 10 years.
So that's nearly 10 years, and currently on the books is like 22 staff or something like that, 23 staff. So actually, it's not really that amount of not that big amount of turnover, and it's considering you get so many students through the door.
Yeah,
you
still got over a quarter of your
staff
that you've ever had.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's quite a lot in 10 years.
Yeah.
That's really well.
Yeah, definitely.
How is it that you find like these cool people to work with? Is there something you do in the interview process?
I think a lot of it's luck, isn't it? Like, you put yourself out there, you try and create a product, you try and create a brand, and hopefully people are attracted to what you're doing. And, ultimately those that that come on board that aren't as, blown away by what you're doing or aren't quite the right fit, they fall to the wayside naturally anyway. And those that do enjoy what you're doing and get what you're trying to do and enjoy the brand and enjoy working for the brand and helping trying to create that, they stick with you, and that's why we end up with, even in kitchens where you get quite a high turnover, you've got guys that have worked with us for a few years at a time, and Will was with us for 4 years or something like that.
I think so, yeah. 5
years. Those are tough environments to work in, and to keep a hold of staff,
especially when it's just me and him, and it was busy at the beginning. That was,
and especially when there's big commercial, businesses out there that can pay staff a lot more than what we can offer as a business, And I think it's because you create that, it's difficult to get, but work-life balance is such, the days off, the shifts that they work, they've got, they're not getting burnt out 60 hours in a kitchen or whatever else, they're doing a 30 to 40 hour week, and they get 3 days off a week. And, I think having worked in those kitchens and then come to working in this kind of environment and having a bit more of a laid back approach to it, it suits a lot of people. And, you know, we're fortunate in that sense with some of the guys that have stuck with us.
Moving on to the food, away from the kind of business things.
Yep.
Why are your burgers so fucking awesome?
So I think when we said we did that birthday party, that was the first time we'd used Huncham, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So we've used the same farm from that very first day. A guy called Richard Vaughan. He's got a farm called Huncham Farm in Hereford.
Yeah.
And he's just got really good longhorn cows.
His approach to farming
Yeah.
is like our approach to cooking. You know, he was from the mass production background and used to create cows and cattle and meat for Tesco's and supermarkets. And he was just like, there's got to be a better way than this, you know. And so he went on to rare breed, because longhorn was pretty rare breed at the time. And he also went with some Ryland lamb and middle white pig, and really focused his attention on the rearing of the animals and the treatment of the animals. And
he still produces pigs for a large amount of Michelin star restaurants.
Yeah. Michel Roux and the likes.
Yeah. He's and then that's the one thing that's stuck with us from day one. We've gone through different bakers, we've gone through different buns, like lots and lots of types of different buns. We were importing the Martins ones at one point. From America. We've tried all sorts of buns, but meat. And then when we took over, was it the British Oak when we started using Dunwood? Was using them before. I think it might be some of the festival stuff.
Some of the festival stuff.
When we took on the second site, the British Oak, because Richard isn't a huge farm, there was only so much we could take from him because he still had other customers and other restaurants. So we started looking for other farms, where we came across Will from Dunwood Farm. And then he had some longhorn cows. So we did some product testing, and then we started. So now we use 2 farms for the beef, but both equally as good as each other.
And he had that same kind of approach as Richard. Like,
Yeah.
His dad was a very traditional farmer, and then he wanted to come in and go into more rare breed animals and sort of do it his way. And he's really turned the farm business around. And, you know, they've got their on-site butchery and their aging chambers all on site. And, you know, it's
we
good
pretty
to
much
see.
work any of the main sort of produce we have. We worked quite closely with them. So we work with the farms, and then we use Rossiters for our chicken that comes up from there. So everything we do is free range. We know where it's coming from.
Yeah, that's always been a big thing, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
you know, we don't really shout about that enough, I think, especially on our menus and all the rest of it. But, you know, there's not many other places you go to that's a burger restaurant where they're using like free range chicken. It'll just be whatever else is out there. But
we're always very conscious of where we get our produce from.
Yeah.
With your patties, obviously there's a lot of different cuts, different fat ratios. When was it how many burgers and how many years did it take to get to the perfect patty that you're like, right, this is the one for us? We're not changing the recipe now.
do you know what?
We did have a few.
Yeah.
But honestly, when we went with, we had a few farms send samples to us when we first started off. And then we went with Richard, told him kind of what we were looking for. He sent a blend, and it's kind of the one we've stuck with. Yeah. I think there's lots of things about different blends and things like that, but the quality of the meat kind of stands out, as well as what he's putting in. And just with the aging process that Richard uses, it's just that's where the flavor's coming from for us. I think
100%.
anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And
I think that's where it's coming from. Not there's a secret bit of sirloin in that. I feel like it's the quality of the beef that's going in is what creates what we do, and that's what helps us. Our product we do on a basic cheeseburger is simple. What we do, we put it together well, but it is the produce we're getting in that all we're doing is slightly elevating.
it's just to complement what's already there.
Yeah.
I think that's everyone we speak to that owns a restaurant.
Like if we work with, we know they're creating
in.
good produce, so that's what we can do. And we're on a different level to other people, but it's what we do still is we still have that same amount of care and love that we put into it.
Yeah, we're not like a Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, we
It still goes out.
still might have the same principles in terms of what you're putting out.
I think that's why we've made so many friends like Brad and things like that. I think Brad always says we've got the same sort of ideas or like ideology maybe of but he's obviously on another spectrum, but what we do, but we still care as much about what we're doing.
Yeah.
Do you do the smash right? Have you always done the smash kind of type of burger, or is it?
I mean, it's smashed onto the grill, but it's not the classic smash patty.
We don't. Yeah, they're not like super thin. We used to do them quite thick when we first started. They were quite thick patties, but that's changed over the years. But yeah, no, they're not super thin smashed. They are smashed to order, but yeah, not super thin, not just crust.
Yeah. I don't like I like a smashed patty. I don't mind a smashed patty in the right. There's a time and a place for it, isn't there? But I think our style has always just been that kind of just slightly less than a smashed patty. It's probably we smash it down to about maybe, I don't know, like 10 mil, and then we just keep it at that. So you've still got a bit of depth to the flavor, like a bit of depth to the patty. So there's a bit more texture to it, you know, when you bite into it. But yeah, everyone's on the smash patty tip at the moment.
There are a lot of
100%. Like you look at Drip Fest and these like burger festivals that are going on. Like most of the traders that are there are all on the smash patty, whether it's like Oklahoma style or like the new version of it. It's just
it's mad. That's just burgers as well. There's so many different types of just burger. It's absolutely nuts.
It's mad. Yeah.
I think the thick burger was you're saying like. It used to be all thick burgers. All thin. Now it just seems to be getting smaller and smaller and thinner now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
just having a try. You're always you get to see more. So like you're a gateway. You're like In fact, you were probably most people in Birmingham's first ever like real decent burger. You know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
We still get people coming up and saying that, don't we? Like you were the first burger that I had that like actually just blew my mind. You know,
I think when we first started, it was us. And Meat Shack.
Yeah.
It was us and Meat Shack. I think we used to kind of alternate DDCs and stuff like that. Yeah. I think it was just us and Paul.
I said between you and Meat Shack, I think you've got it completely nailed for the whole of it.
Well, I mean, we had the run, like both of us.
Yeah. Like, we hit it at the right time.
It was for ages. There was no one else coming along doing burgers. No one came along. So we just took it in turns. And
no, it was just the shit ones you got at the football, wasn't it?
Straight
from the freezer.
But they still smell great, though, didn't they?
It's still
I'm like, oh fuck, that's good.
Yeah, when you piss, great.
We all still eat them. Like, so when we go for family barbecues, everyone's like, oh, I can't serve you this. I'm like, oh, we'll eat that. Don't worry. Like, it's fine.
There's still not loads though. You know, like. One of my pet peeves is that I always get asked to choose, like, you know, Meat Shack or OPM.
That's from day one.
Since day one.
That's from day one.
It's a city of over 1 million people, and we have to choose between two. Like,
that's been like that from day one. The Birmingham Mail
more than two.
did a review on both restaurants and got all the details wrong for both restaurants. So they
mixed them up.
They reviewed Paul, but with all of our stuff, and reviewed us. Yes, that was that was a good one. That was good. Yeah, we've always been compared, like from day one.
Yeah,
and there's Hambao around the corner now. No one compared. Like we don't hear anything to us anyway. The only thing we ever read or come across is us and Meat Shack. It's always been
everything we speak to. Don't get me wrong. There's other places that are great.
Yeah.
But it does seem you two
I
companies.
I assume it's just because the people that kind of started eating at DDC and stuff, they've kind of grown up with us, like the same thing. So there's still those people around that they're the people that we associate with and talk to, and they're the two brands that kind of still and restaurants that are still in their heads. Like some of the new ones they probably haven't heard of, whereas maybe some of the younger people coming into Birmingham now, like the new uni and stuff like that, would know other places but don't necessarily know we're here because we are tucked away on. That's what we were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
It's getting to the younger. So we've all kind of grown up and everyone's grown up with us and they all know, but then we don't necessarily get some of the younger uni students in anymore.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do you look out at your audience, you look at your guests and you're just like, everyone's the same age as us.
Yeah.
And they always have been. What's going on?
I think
we've always had like quite a broad demographic in the restaurant, but like, you know, when we first started, the majority of the people that were coming through the door were all the guys that were at DDC.
We got absolutely pigeonholed into hipster restaurant.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Our first review was if you don't have a beard or tattoos, don't bother going.
Yeah.
Which didn't make any sense.
No, sweet a burger.
But yeah, we always, I think when we first started, there was that whole, we couldn't get away from the word hipster. Like that was, like it was a negative to put us, like, don't go.
I think it's just because you were taking burgers seriously and some people just can't get their head around that, I imagine.
Yeah. And we were playing, you know, like hip hop, and we had like graffiti
and they were coming into a railway arch
and,
that
like,
it was blowing people's minds at the beginning. It was a railway arch that they just couldn't comprehend why we'd done it.
No. How much fun is it coming up with new burgers?
Yeah, it's good. It's the good creative element for us, I think, and that's one thing we still all kind of share and do together as well. Is like we all constantly, the guys. I mean, we've got a good kitchen team as well, so the guys are constantly bringing stuff up. Whereas before it was just us. Every time was always us, but now to have other people's input as well, it's it's nice, and everyone in the kitchen brings things in, and we try.
I was
it.
going to say, do they hand you a burger and go try this?
Yeah, we try
it
little
next
things,
time.
and then there's like little text messages outside, like, oh, let's try this, or we've seen something, let's give that a go, let's try this, and stuff like that. It's
it's nice that you encourage that amongst those guys, and they get excited about it, and they'll ask to order in ingredients and try stuff, and it's like fire on, you're like crack on.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an idea for a burger that you thought this will definitely work, and then you've put it together and gone,
Tastes like shit.
no,
all the
this
time.
doesn't work at all.
All the time. Yeah. Although normally we put stuff together, and the first bite is like, oh yeah, it's a bit underwhelming.
Just
that.
goes quiet.
Yeah, there's always a bit. It's always
No one wants to say it.
the first burger's never ever right. It's always like, oh, actually, it needs to do this, this, and this.
Because the thing is, it's like it's a burger. It's like, how many things can you put on a burger? Really? How far can you?
I mean,
get?
we've had
What-
we've had a lot of specials. There's half of them I probably can't remember.
Yeah, although the one thing we'll never ever do, regardless of how much someone's prepared to do it, is put chicken and beef on the same burger. You can just fuck off if you want to do
Yeah,
that.
we don't do
It's
that.
not going to happen.
I do wonder
We're-
if that's
we're
gonna
very
work. I see a
strict.
lot of that.
We're very strict. I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
don't blame
I
you.
think I don't know. I think it's just one thing we've got ingrained in us, and we just like requests that we don't have on the menu is very like, no, I'm really sorry, but
We do. I mean, we like to a degree. We do. We let people switch in the sauces and out and take things off.
That's
and
why I'm not
add
on the
extra
floor,
things on.
so.
Scott,
That's why I'm-
every time
you'll hear my hand slap on the ticket with that one.
You just say, no, fuck's sake."
yeah, you'll hear the pass go on that one.
But like, as far as I'm concerned, like if someone's going to come in and pay for it, it's not like I want you to come in and create your own burger on the menu. But if there's a
Yeah.
little tweak here and there, like I'll let that slide. But if you want to start adding chicken to a burger and stuff, nah.
Yeah, we just don't do it. It's just
No, I don't blame you. I'd not really even heard of a chicken and beef burger.
Seems
That's,
to be a
why would
thing,
you want to
Yeah,
do
people
that?
go for it, man.
Why?
People
don't
go for
know.
it.
Chicken burger, great.
yeah,
Beef
yeah.
burger,
They
great.
just don't need to be
necessarily
together.
know.
It's just, and it's like there's the other thing as well, weren't there? Like what we were talking about recently, the ice cream on a chicken, fried chicken, ice cream and fried chicken.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it.
I would love
No,
that.
I'm going to like that.
I would love that. That's why.
Chicken
Chicken and
you,
waffle, like I get that. Chicken and waffle and a bit of bacon, yeah, delicious. But
Chicken and waffle with a bit of ice cream as well. Because have you been to Chance's?
Do you know what? We know James really well, but I haven't had the chicken and waffles from him. We've had
Yeah.
Yakuchi, but I haven't had
So
chances yet.
He puts like chantilly cream or something with
Yeah.
it.
put chantilly cream, yeah,
The
yeah.
maple
Yeah.
fudge.
Yeah.
That's delicious. I've had it.
That's,
I've
I mean,
had it.
James
Yeah,
can
yeah.
definitely cook.
Yeah.
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's not like ice cream, though.
It's not ice cream, yeah. The ice cream's
that's-
different.
I think it was LA, wasn't it? It was a
And
place that did a fried chicken
sprinkles
burger,
and,
and you
like-
had a massive scoop of vanilla ice cream on the top with like syrup over it. It's a viral social media.
Ah, right.
social
I mean,
media.
that's coming from us, and we did like a Krispy Kreme burger donut. So,
yeah,
I
that's
guess
what we
you
started
Can,
with. So
I guess you can't really compare.
I feel like we've kind of spoke so much about burger, we forgot about the pizza.
yeah,
Obviously, we've got corner shop here now,
Yeah.
home at Kilder.
yeah.
How did that come about?
So again, what we were talking about with Kilder, kind of finding its own audience, and we tried a few different menus. We were doing grilled cheese at one point. They were okay. They were going out okay, but it never really
Yeah, we always got good
that
feedback.
momentum.
But you
And
just
then when
didn't
we
get
stopped it, all we got
loads
was
of people.
messages like, I was going to come, but no, that's the classic. But yeah, we just, and then food just stopped in here for a while. And
It was after
pizzas-
COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
just knocked
We
it on
were
the
going to
head.
do wings, weren't we?
Yeah.
We rebuilt the kitchen we were going to do like chicken wings and things like that. And then during that, we'd been playing with pizza and dough and getting into baking a bit more and practicing pizzas. And then no one in Birmingham was really doing deep pan pizza. There wasn't really anyone, so we started practicing with that. And then we just thought, let's give it a go. But what we did is we just branded it in its own thing, really. So then,
Because, ultimately, if you can brand it in its own thing and create, again, a bit of a brand around it, then the idea is that if it starts to work, then maybe it can become its own thing. Like maybe it becomes its own standalone product at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
that would be the end goal. I mean, for me it is, and for Scott it is. Like, ultimately, we'd like to build it and try and turn it into something. So Kilder's become like a ideal testing ground for it. It works well in here. People enjoy it. So
yeah. Currently, it's just the 2 days a week, so just a Wednesday night and then the Saturdays. We run it on short teams, so it's prep. It's quite an
Prep
in-depth prep
intense,
for
yeah.
it, yeah, because the dough and everything like that. It's quite a long process.
Yeah, I was going to say, because before you were doing it, I was like, all right, I've not had this type of pizza.
Yeah,
I've got to
yeah.
get it. So I bought a book on doing it. Read the book and I was like, oh, this is going to take ages.
Yeah, so it's quite prep heavy. So at the moment, generally in service, it's just me on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So we've got a smallish menu for that, but that is going to increase at some point, and the days would increase as well once it kicks off its own.
Yeah.
It's building quite nicely at the moment. It's been all right. It's definitely brought more people into Kilder.
Yeah.
People coming in just for the food as well, and then realising the drink selection that we do have as well.
But yeah,
So it just goes well with beer as well.
does
doesn't it?
yeah 100%.
Yeah, and that's why we did it as
Cheese.
like as slices as well, not just a whole pizza. So you can have a
Yeah.
slice, come in, have a slice, have some mozzarella sticks, and then
And the
And
fried
it's-
olives have gone well as well.
yeah, and it's still the same ethos we got next door. Everything we know where we're getting it from, we're sourcing everything, we're doing everything right. I think there's barely anything that we ever buy in and sell to someone as like just a
Off the
product.
shelf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't. We make everything from scratch. I think we don't make ketchup or mustard, but everything we serve here is made from scratch, and not said to say 90% of next door is made from us from scratch.
Yeah.
And that's the same as what we've carried through on the pizza as well. So it's all just
And we like eating pizza, so
Yeah.
why not make it when you can eat it?
When I found out you were doing it, I was so happy. I was like,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
fuck, someone's doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
yeah.
It's the crispy edging, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
it's
that
taken a little
edge.
while to
Oh.
So it's
get that
bit,
right.
Yeah.
You know, like whenever you have a lasagna and you cook it at home and you like
Yeah,
scrape
yeah.
that bit of melted crusty cheese off the
Yeah,
edge
yeah.
of the pan after everyone's
Yeah,
eaten
yeah,
dinner,
yeah.
like, you know, and you get it on all four corners of the pizza, like, so it's
It's
the
a
best
beast
bit.
of a thing as well.
It
One
is.
slice. I mean,
It
you might
is,
try and
yeah.
get a free. You never. I don't think I could eat.
It is, yeah, it's quite
two at
filling.
most.
That's the only down. That is the only thing we have noticed. It is a lot.
People come in, they'll be like, yeah, I'll smash like pizza each.
Yeah, you get groups order like a
Yeah,
pizza, and there's like
no
6
way.
pieces on the table, and it's like,
Well-
I'll bring the boxes down.
Yeah.
I think I've eaten 3 slices and I was very, very
Yeah,
full. Then
yeah,
I think
yeah.
2 is what I'd aim for.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's definitely a variance between like our deep pans, some of the other deep pans that are out there. Like it is a beastie boy.
It's almost a focaccia dough.
Yeah.
It's not as much hydration, but it's almost a focaccia dough. So it's quite light, but it's a wedge of bread, like basically.
yeah.
And we're not shy on the cheese either. So
No,
it's
it's delicious though, isn't it? It's
Oh, I
so
love it.
nice.
I took my daughter, 8 years
Yeah.
old, and she was just, you know, it's like on the films, that massive, big, massive slab of
Yeah,
pizza.
yeah, yeah.
She was like holding it up. She was like, wow. Best
Size of a head.
That's one thing I've noticed. Is because I don't really run food or anything when I'm working in OPM, but when it's corner shop in here, it's just me. So if the orders come through, I'll bring the food down, and that's one thing I noticed when I bring it down is I see more people's reaction of like seeing it for the first time, because it is a big wedge of food, and it is
The
that
whole
kind of
one's
like
massive when
Yeah,
you
it
look
is
at
like
it, yeah.
you get like a little. Oh, it's big. Like, it's like one of those. That's
you do
that's the one-
boxes for takeaway.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've noticed. But
I did have a table of 4 lads in here once that ordered a pizza each, and they polished every single bit.
yeah.
Wow.
Every single bit. I was pretty impressed, to be fair. It's good going, that was. And they had sides.
We finished with Carl's little kind of just
Just questions about
general
yourselves.
questions.
Okay.
Just general sort of stuff, just to gauge.
Was there anything
what
else
you like
first
in
before
business.
we
No,
went to
I
it?
don't think so.
No, I don't think so. No.
All right. What's your favourite TV show?
Oh God, of all time.
Yeah, why not? Or now? They're pretty loose, these
I'm
questions.
Yeah,
gonna go. I'm gonna go for The Wire.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
That is a
in
great
agreement.
answer.
The Wire and
It's hard, that,
Sopranos.
I'll regret that when I go
yeah,
home now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll think of 10 other things. You'll be like, oh, no, that was better. No, I love Breaking Bad. That was great. That was good. No, but
Yeah.
The Wire,
Yeah, I think I'll go.
especially the first 4 series, just...
I think The Wire and Sopranos are the only two kind of series that I've
I know, it's him.
rewatched.
He loves this.
Yeah.
Like I don't rewatch many things. Like I
Yeah.
didn't rewatch Breaking Bad, even though I really enjoyed it. But I rewatched The Wire from start. And do you know? And the first time round that I watched The Wire, I hated the second season in the
Yeah.
dockyards. Second time round, I had a whole
Even
new
better.
appreciation for it, and I loved it. It was like one of my favorite seasons.
It's one of them, like, and all the... Well, not all, but 2 of the main cast are from England.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
how's
Yeah,
this
yeah.
happening?
I do
The
watch.
accent's so good.
I do watch Spaced once a year though.
Yeah.
Every year, once a year, I'll watch Spaced from start to finish. So
gotta be done,
That's got to
innit?
have mentioned, yeah, because
That's the right age for that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
watch
yeah.
that
It's the funniest
over
thing
and
I've
over
ever
again.
seen. It's just even today, I'll
Yeah.
just quotes worked into life. I'll come in the front door and be like, "Hello, Brian."
yeah.
It just everything just happens, doesn't it?
I always reference the paintball episode, so
It's such good stuff. What's your favourite movie?
I'm going to Gladiator. I'll just watch that film over and over again.
Now my wife has the Sing Gladiator.
That's mad.
I nearly fell off the couch when she
Yeah.
told me. I was like, "What do you mean you haven't seen it?"
That's room for divorce.
I was just like, it's a long. She's like, "Will you watch it?" And I was like, "Oh, no, it's a long film. I'm not good with long films. I
Yeah,
struggle."
yeah.
It's always on telly as well.
Yeah,
It is.
and I'll watch it.
That's what
And
I'm
I'll
like,
watch it every
she's
time.
never
Whenever I
seen
get back, Hannah will be like, "Gladiator's on." I'm like, "Yeah, we'll watch that, man. Let's watch that." Like, I'll watch it over and over.
Gladiator and Rocky.
Yeah,
Always
Rocky.
on.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
watch
yeah.
them, throw 'em on.
When I was younger, I used to watch Rocky 4 over and over and
Yeah,
over.
we were the same.
Just-
You'd
yeah.
come round, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Me, you, and my brother.
Yeah,
We'd
yeah.
sit there.
And then
Rocky,
any Jean-Claude Van Damme
3 or
films.
4 would always be on at some
I've
point.
still got
in the
all
day.
my DVD collection. It's in like it's in zip tied bags, and they're up in the loft. But it's like every 80s action movie you can imagine. I'm a big
Yeah.
80s action film buff, so yeah, I'd probably go Gladiator. That I'd watch.
That's a good one.
I always was a sucker for the Big Lebowski. I used to
Another
love
great
that.
film.
Yeah, man. I can still watch that over and over again as well.
We watched it the other
Yeah, in my
week.
car.
In his car, we watched it.
And Devil's Advocate. I always used to love Devil. That was one film that I watched over and over. I did love that.
It's the story of that one. I
Yeah.
just think it's really, and Al Pacino,
And
obviously.
Al
but-
Pacino is a legend in that. He's brilliant. But yeah, there's a few. There's definitely a few.
Yeah. Favorite band or artist or DJ?
Everyone's expecting me to say Creed, but I'd say really probably Pink Floyd for me. Yeah, as favorite band, as like a.
Do you actually like Creed, or is that?
I
one
do
of the-
really
you do?
like Creed. Yeah, it's not a joke.
I wasn't
yeah.
sure if it was.
There's a
No,
lot of
it's
memes
not a
that go
joke.
about
No,
Creed.
I do like the whole thing. Yeah, I do really like Creed. I think they're great.
It's
Did
one
you
of
use-
the things
Oh,
you do look
sorry.
at you like, is he being ironic?
No,
Yeah.
no. There's
Was it? Were you into wrestling?
not really.
No.
But a lot of
not
our
really.
I was into wrestling when I was a kid, but a lot of our early posters for street food was
Yeah,
was
we used to
wrestling.
use them. Yeah,
Yes,
loads
yeah.
of Hulk
Like,
Hogan
yeah,
pictures
yeah.
and
Hulk
Jake the
Hogan.
Snake. We had on there. Ultimate Warrior. We had an Ultimate Warrior burger. Had a sparkler on it.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Oh, I want it.
Yeah, it came with and then we
Roddy
had the-
Roddy Piper as well.
Yeah. And we did a Breaking Bad burger, and we're going back into other stuff. But yeah, it came with a little bag of blue crystals.
Oh, no
It
way.
was blue sherbet.
Oh, just that's because they use the a lot of Creed songs in the
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
promos and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Did you like him at the time as well, or is it something that's happened? Because I've found out bands,
It's-
especially new metal, I didn't
So
like at the
I
time.
liked them
like
probably when I was
now.
at college and stuff. I listened to that kind of stuff, and then it faded away. And then a few years back, I was like, I listened to it, and I was like, that's pretty good. And then it became a thing, and they've blown up now, aren't they? They're massive.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that tour. I missed the
Another
Nickelback
one.
one because it was too pricey.
Yeah.
There's a few songs, but
I'm the same with Limp Bizkit because I was a big Slipknot fan, and
Yeah.
obviously they didn't get on at all. So I didn't really like them because of that.
Yeah.
They had the good odd few songs.
Yeah.
And then I watched that, was it the Woodstock
99.
99? And I watched them on
And
that,
they
and I was
wrecked
like,
the place.
I really want to fucking see Limp Bizkit.
Yeah. Did you see them recently? When they because they toured,
No, I
toured
didn't. I
recently.
missed
yeah,
them,
I missed them
man.
as well. But
They slide it down though. Did you see them at download?
yeah,
Ah,
They
so
absolutely
the
tore
thing
it
is,
up. Yeah.
yeah.
Looked like they tore it up in the desert as well. That one. What about yourself?
I honestly can't choose. Like, I listen to so much different music, and I've gone through so many phases in my time, whether it's been Nirvana or hip hop or or Pink Floyd. And I grew up on a lot of Pink Floyd, and also like Jimi Hendrix and Bob Dylan and a lot of the golden oldies. And then I went through all my kind of new phase, and I was into like probably phases when I first moved to Birmingham and was having a good time. But when the Custard Factory was on and the whole dance scene that was happening in the Custard Factory, I was I was involved in a lot of that was going on at the time, or I was at least at a lot of those events. So I think, I can't put a name on a single band. I just can't do it. I've never been able to do that when people have said, what's your favorite? Never.
That's fair enough. Since you're both into cooks and stuff like that, would you have a favourite cookbook or one you'd recommend to people?
For me personally, I would probably say any Ottolenghi book.
Yeah.
I just think they're great. I think the guy is great. Like, he's a great chef, and the way it's all written, it breaks down. It's great. That and the Berber and Q, Josh Katz, I think it is. Berber and Q books, fantastic.
Yeah, I've got all the
They're
Ottolenghi's as
really
well.
good.
They're great.
They're my
really good.
go-to. I've got a big cookbook, too many cookbooks, but they're the ones that I just get out, and it's kind of more of the style of food I cook at home as well. So
There's a book I've got at home that I'm trying to think what it's called now, and it's like, I'm sure it's like Simple New York or something like that. And essentially, every single recipe in there they encouraged all the chefs that put in recipes not to put any quantities for anything. And I know that sounds really wanky and shit, but like every recipe that was in there, it was just like a pinch of this, and it was up to you to then kind of like add as much as you want of each of the style of ingredients that was going in there. But every recipe that was in it was an absolute banger. It's brilliant. I'll find out what it is and you can add it in at the end. But like, it was,
I want to know.
Yeah,
So I've got a
yeah.
very big cookbook
Yeah.
section as well. I'm mad for
And
it.
we'll have to say staff for Brad because
So, that's
we're
it,
in
yeah.
that one.
Or,
So
the Birmingham
Or the Birmingham cookbook,
which
yeah,
we've
we're in
got
that one as well, yeah.
50 of in our
Yeah,
lockup.
we've got a
that
few in the
never got
lockup
rid
if you
of.
want them.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well,
No, I've got that one.
An
That's a
honourable
good one.
mention for staff because they're in it.
Do you have a favourite big fast food chain?
I'm really shocked you asked this. I was waiting.
Nah,
to see
they're
if you
gonna.
asked it.
Mate, KFC.
There you go.
KFC
That was my
favourite?
choice.
It's one of my faves. I had one last night. 3-piece variety.
That's what I
Every
get.
day. Yeah. Well,
Three-piece.
they do a 2-piece now, don't they? It's the mighty bucket for one.
I don't want a two-piece.
But, you know, I always get
pieces.
extra hot wings on that every time.
Yeah.
Hot wings are the best thing.
Yeah,
to do at
yeah,
KFC.
yeah. In Hong Kong as well, they do a full thigh in the hot wing covering. Oh, man.
No way.
And it was the first place that ever had the mashed potato and gravy with the fried chicken before they brought it into the UK. Oh, it was game changer.
I'm probably going to have to say KFC. Well, when you said it, I was like, I can't say KFC, but you said it. So yeah, probably,
Yeah.
it's probably KFC.
We used to have
KFC or Domino's?
We used to, like when we worked at
Yeah.
Luke, we had like Kentucky Friday chicken, we called it. Every Friday we'd have like KFC.
Yeah.
or we'd have a kebab, didn't we? Yeah, that was the other one. Yeah.
Do you ever fucks with a Mackey's? Or?
Breakfast. Do you know what? We had cheeseburgers the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah,
When,
we had
at the festival
can't-
that got
the-
cancelled.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
they're so
Gotta-
big because that's why they are. Like it's not something we go to.
I'll smash a
I mean,
breakfast.
burgers aren't something we generally go out and order, but
I'm still curious though. I will still definitely go to other
if there's
burger
places
chains
we
and
go on
restaurants.
holiday or go to
100%.
different cities, and there's someone we know of. We'll
Yeah,
always
yeah.
nip in and just grab a burger just to try it
what's
because you still
going
need to
on.
know, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. Other than Birmingham, what's your favourite food destination in the world that you've been to?
Oh.
Uh,
I've
Probably gonna say the same thing. I'd say Copenhagen.
something different.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought we matched. Let's think.
Pinky.
Yeah, I'd say for me Copenhagen. Like when I went, just the restaurants and the food scene is just.
Hong Kong for me.
Oh yeah, Hong Kong.
All day, every day. Just because it is like a melting pot. You've got everything there and it's all good. You know, like every cuisine from, you know, whether it's Western or Asian or Indonesian or, you know, like it's all there and it's banging. It's just, you know, you've got such a hot pot of stuff going on there and you've got a really good hot pot as well. But you like it's great. Like, and I used to go there with our old job at Luke. And guarantee, I know this obviously goes against what I'm saying, I would get food poisoning maybe 1 every 3 trips because I'd just smash oysters when I was over there. Like they do these
Yeah.
deep fried oysters that were just the best thing ever, but I couldn't stop.
Someone would be my taste tester. I'm a bit weird about textures and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not very good. So we'd go out for meals and then Tom would try something and then kind of just look at me and be like, or yes, you can eat that. And I'll be like, oh, I'll try that actually. Let's have a little bit of that.
I'll never forget his face when we had that Cantonese chicken meat and they brought out this chicken dish, which looked great, but it was poached, but then it was served ice cold.
Like
And,
ice cold. And I was like, oh, roast chicken, put it in. I was like, oh, it's ice. it's ice. Like, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Do you ever get anything really nice and you're like, yeah, you won't like it.
yeah, probably.
You
Yeah,
won't like this.
probably.
There was one place that we used to go to, and there was a guy called Mr. Song, and he was like, he's a knitwear factory owner, and they used to take us to these like teppanyaki grills. where they
Yeah,
chop-
yeah.
And they did this steak with soy sauce and butter, and it was the most simple thing cooked on the grill. And they used to put a bit of, I think they used to put sake on as well to give it the flame. Oh, it was like,
Yeah, it was.
it was phenomenal. And they used to do like a soy sauce eel with this butter on it.
The eel wasn't good.
I loved the eel. The eel was.
I
I was
like
glad he
the
hated
eel.
the eel. 'cause it was
The eel
more for me,
wasn't
but the eel was phenomenal. Yeah, that's my bag. Like I like Asian cuisine. Is one of my things.
Yeah.
Did you eat at Noma or was it just
No,
other
no. We
places?
went to when they had, was it 108? I think they had, it was on the corner. So we went there from Melbourne. We didn't get into Noma. But I think 108's closed down now, but that was great.
What was it about Copenhagen? Was it like, because it gets a lot of publicity for its fancy stuff, but you don't hear much about it. It's like normal
No, I
eats,
think-
you know.
I think everything about when we went, we had all these like places booked we wanted to go for food and stuff like that. And every meal, I mean, Obviously, we booked designated places that we knew, so it wasn't just wandering around. But everything we had was just so good, and attention to detail, and there's just so much of a scene going on. Of different people open up, just like down to coffee shops. Like every coffee shop you went into, the pastries are fantastic. Like just everything was nailed. Like even is it is it Gasoline?
Gasoline Grill, yeah.
Like Gasoline Grill in Copenhagen. That's a burger place in an old petrol station. Great, really, really good.
And
Like,
there, a lot of the places are really small, tiny little
Yeah.
places, but they've just got a good vibe to them, and like the food's spot on.
it's that kind of thing is what we wanted. Like if we ever
Yeah, yeah.
expanded again, it's never. I'm saying now, but it's never going to be like a massive. We want little spots just and keep what we're doing
And keep it different.
and keep
Yeah,
just-
like it doesn't have to be that uniformed kind of, franchise type, it's
It's-
about creating something that works in the area that it's in.
like what Byron started when they opened up each restaurant. Every restaurant was different.
Yeah, Byron
Every
nailed it
single
at the
restaurant,
start.
but then they went crazy.
They
And
got
opened up
greedy.
Too many restaurants, and then it all. But that idea of each restaurant was independent to its, it had its own theme and stuff. That's a good idea. It looked nice.
Yeah, definitely. And Copenhagen is just one of those places that you go to and you're like, I could live here.
Yeah.
It's clean.
That's most places I
full
think
of,
I go to.
full of beautiful people.
It's one of them. There's only a handful of places I've been of like I could live here. Edinburgh's one of them.
Yeah.
So my brother lived there, and I just loved going there. So
Edinburgh's
much.
like the pretty city, isn't it?
Yeah, I went
Yeah.
there recently. It was great.
There's
It was
just
really
no
nice.
bad
Yeah.
view
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah,
You open the door and you're like, fucking hell, there's castle here.
Yeah. And it's got a great food scene. It's got a great food and hospitality scene as well. Like,
My only problem with Edinburgh is everything's uphill.
yeah,
You go
100%.
uphill to the
Yeah.
pub,
Yeah.
and when you go back, it's uphill
But
again.
there's
And you're like,
gen-
how is it uphill
But
again?
it's
It was uphill
generally
on the
a
way
pub
here.
at the top, which is the reward. So you're all right. Like, yeah.
I'm good.
All good.
All happy.
Awesome, lads.
Great.
This has
Thank
been
you.
great fun.
Yeah, perfect.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
No, I appreciate it.
Cheers for having us.
Thank you.
So there we go. I told you it was good, man.
Yeah, it was really good.
You don't get the chance to go back and listen to it because I do the editing.
You hear it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, and every time I hear something else, I'm like, yeah, that's good. Listen to that. Yes, I hope you all enjoyed. Massive thank you for listening. Thanks to the lads from OPM. Really appreciate them doing this for us. Thanks to our sponsors, Burning Barn Rum, Easy Food. Really appreciate it. Remember, if you did enjoy it, go and spread the message. We really appreciate it. And give us a rating on whatever you've listened or watched this episode on. See you all next week for Matt Weldon. Yes.